Elgato got a little weird today, and let me tell you about it with a metaphor. Sometimes, YouTubers have a lot of really great video ideas, but they're all kind of small. None of them are large enough to make an entire video out of, right? So eventually what they do is they kind of bundle a bunch of them together after they stockpile large enough, and you make one large video out of all of them. Well, apparently, Elgato had a very similar problem because today they released 3 new products. And none of them feel like real market game changers like some of their products have in the past, like their microphone, for example, but they're all just kind of quality of life upgrades. And you know what, Elgato? I can get behind that. Before we get started on this video, I'd like to give a huge shout out to a longtime sponsor of this channel, Owned.tv. Owned is your one-stop shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, whether it be overlays, panels, animations, whatever, with a wide variety of designs to choose from. Plus, my favorite thing about them is that they are modular. So if you and all your friends pick out this Alpha Gaming design that you're looking at right here, which by the way, we made with them, so that's why there's a little bit of a resemblance going on here. None of you are going to have the exact same overlay because you can pick and choose the different pieces that you like. If you'd like to make the smart move like many from the community have done, feel free to use the link in the description below. And when you check out, make sure you use code ALPHA, you'll save 40%. So let's talk about these 3 things from Elgato. Number 1, number 2. I don't think that's gonna work. Let's leave this down here for now. You know what, let's start with this one. Let's do this one first, get it out of the way. Ooh, Elgato Wave Panels. Let's put the rest down here. I think there are 6, yeah, 6 in there. Acoustic panels with some little holes in the back that I'm pretty sure are for mounting. Okay. Oh, and clips and mounting. Oh, it comes with 3M strips, okay. So you lock 6 of them together like this. You plug it in the back. This is actually really nice. I don't know how many of you have actually put together acoustic panels before, but hanging them on the wall is actually kind of a nightmare. You have to like use 2-sided tape, but the tape doesn't stay on the foam very well. So my strategy for putting these on the wall is Gorilla Gluing 2-sided tape to the back of these and then putting the tape on the wall. And it causes problems. So a whole mounting system. Do we want to do a whole? Let's do a whole one. All right. Let's see what the clips are. Oh, okay. So I assume these are gonna hold it. Oh no, these connect multiple together. Let me grab one more of these. So if you were to do 2 at a time. Oh, and this goes on here. Very fancy. They thought of everything. Yeah, it's nice foam too. It's got a neat little design. So it looks good. And you can kind of mix and match the directions so you can get what kind of pattern you want here. Put it all over your wall. They give you a bunch of little shape ideas on this thing, just in case you're not very creative, which is nice. But it's got 2 different densities in here. So you got super soft foam on the top and a little bit more dense foam. I imagine they do that too. Now I'm not an audio engineer. I dropped out of that program. But yeah, different densities are gonna absorb different frequencies. So they put both of them on there, I'd assume, to get higher and lower frequencies. So it's a little bit more balanced. But yeah, these are obviously for, I don't know if I need to explain this. These are to block sound from bouncing off your walls. The biggest culprit of room reverb sound, that noisy sound you get in an empty room, is blank parallel walls. So if you have 2 walls that have nothing in front of it and are facing each other, you're gonna get a lot of bouncing sounds. You throw these on one of them. Each box comes with 6. 6 should actually be a good amount. And we could test these, but I don't really have a lot of room reverb as it is, because another way to block sound is just furnishing stuff, putting stuff in your room. So don't really have a solid way to test this, and that's fine. I actually use just cheap Amazon foam in my other room. So I'm sure this will work great. And if it blocks parallel walls, then it does its job. And the nice thing about it is just they made it look nice. They put some effort into some cool patterns. Good on you. Good on you, Elgato. Cool. I just wish they'd sent me a little bit more. It just wasn't enough. They kind of cheaped out on me with this product, but I don't know, maybe the next one they'll do it for me. Let's do this one next. In Elgato's light lineup, they're now releasing strip lights. Light strips. Same thing. So these are supposed to be super bright, which is great. They're supposed to be flicker free. Lots of times what happens is dimmable LEDs, the way they dim is they actually turn off and on really, really fast, but your camera can pick it up when your eye can't. So you get this weird flickering going on, but apparently these ones don't get any of that flicker, which is great. And of course, just like everything else, they work with your app, they work with your Stream Deck, they work with your PC, so super convenient. All the normal stuff you'd expect. You have some two-sided tape. You have this whole thing that's adhesive. This thing says it produces 2000 lumens. And apparently the way they do that is they're not just RGB, meaning they don't just have a red, a green, and a blue LED. They also have 2 white lights. They're RGB WW. You can actually see it. I'm gonna assume this is the RGB module, and then these are the WW, 2 different warmths. You can see this one looks a little bit yellower than this one. So this is the warm light, and this is the cool light. So that's how they're able to get these so bright. Nice. We grabbed 2 other ones to test them out up against. We got Philips. I was trying to get Philips Hue, and I got Philips Whiz, which I guess Philips has got 2 lineups now. They got Hue, which is like all their special smart lights, and they got Whiz, which is a little bit cheaper. So this one is 1600 lumens. So you can see it's not going to be as bright, but we'll test that out and make sure that's true. And then this is like the store brand or GE brand that I got at Lowe's, the cheapest one. And it doesn't even say how many lumens it is on it. So we're gonna put these all next to each other. We're gonna see which one is the brightest and what the colors look like. They're all RGB. And I wanna say this is $59.99. So a single strip that is, how long? 78 inches would be 6 feet, 6.5 feet. Okay, so 6.5 feet. Oh, I assume it's including this. So it's probably 6 feet, 6 feet of light is 60 bucks. Cool, let's test them out. The setup of all 3 of these has been interesting, and I have some thoughts. First off, the GE one was actually a lot easier to set up. The only thing I didn't like about the GE setup is that I had to create an account. Don't make me create an account and put in my email just to turn on some lights. So I didn't like that, but the setup process was pretty easy, pretty painless. The app is okay. They made a couple weird decisions. It's very simple, easy to change colors, easy to change warmth if you're going for a different white tone. It's weird that in order to change the brightness, you have to leave the color area and open up a separate brightness tab. I don't really understand the purpose of that. It could have easily gone in the same section when you're controlling the color. But overall, so far, the experience has been fine. The Philips Whiz, however, not a fan. The setup process did not go very smoothly. It couldn't find the lights until the 4th try, which was really weird. I had to unplug and plug it back in like 20 times just to get it to connect. And once you're in the Philips app, the entire thing is a giant mess. It's like some executive who's in charge, the project manager is like, hey, I want everybody's ideas. Here's a jar. Write down your ideas on a little piece of paper and put it in the jar. And then they all did that, and the jar was full of little pieces of paper, and he's like, I don't want to read all those. Yes, doing all of them. And that app is a mess. Like, oh my gosh, I was only in the area to change the colors of the light strip, and I was like having a panic attack. So not a good experience. Philips Whiz, don't recommend it. I'm actually gonna turn off this light. It's right behind my head. I'm sure that's super distracting. The Elgato lights are exactly what we've come to know from our key lights. You add a device in the Wi-Fi settings, that's it. And then it's just in your app. So let's get these things rolling. Let's do a brightness test and let's do a flicker test. So if these are lights that you're going to use on stream, these lights, as well as the light emitting from them, is going to show up on camera. And you need to make sure that these LEDs aren't flashing in a way that's going to flicker on your screen. You'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. I just finished the flicker test. So you can see from the footage of these lights that when you have your camera set at a fairly long exposure, it doesn't really matter that much. However, as we start to speed up the shutter speed and maybe turn down the brightness and the exposure on the camera a little bit, you can see that the Philips and the GE strip start flickering really bad, especially the GE strip. That is something you absolutely don't want on your stream no matter what. Just right off the bat, before we do a brightness test, that's probably a deal breaker for me. Do you have lights in the background of your stream flickering like that? Do you know how distracting that is? Even as we brought the exposure all the way down on the camera, as low as we could, I didn't see any flickering coming from the Elgato. At least not on the screen of the camera here itself. Maybe when we review the footage later, there might be slight flickering, but I didn't see any at all. So really good sign for the Elgato. Let's check out the brightness. For this one, we set the brightness of all 3 strips to 100%, and we set the warmth of it right in the middle so that both the warmth warm white light and the cool white light were both at maximum. So we got as much brightness as we could. From then it was just a matter of lowering the exposure on the camera until we could actually see the brightness difference between the three. And realistically, all three of them were very similar. I don't think brightness is going to be a problem with any of these, but if I were to choose, I would say it looks like the Philips and the Elgato were the brightest, which doesn't surprise me. GE didn't even give a lumens count on their box, but Philips said it was 1600 and Elgato said it was 2000. So I just don't think it's going to be a concern for most people. In conclusion, oh man, you can see the flicker on my face right now. I think it's from this one. Elgato made a good light. Solid job, guys. And the final box, the special box. You ready? Oh, it's a green screen mouse pad that got lost in shipping, and so I don't have it with me. But you can probably imagine what it is. It's a mouse pad, but it's green. If they send it to me, if like it comes in tomorrow, I will I'll like add footage in right here. No? All right, pretty self-explanatory product. It's anyone out there who likes gaming on PC and wants to have a hand cam or already has a hand cam, you no longer have to have a giant rectangle covering up your screen. You can now do it on a green screen, and in OBS you can chroma out everything under your arm, so you just have an arm going on screen. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole Elgato drop. I don't actually know how much the green screen and the wave panels are. I'm gonna DM my guy and I'm gonna have Sam put them on the screen. Here are the prices of all of them. I'm a professional. So yeah, 3 new products from Elgato that I can see being pretty useful. I feel like all 3 of these are common practices that just didn't really have an easy solution. So I appreciate that. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking any of them up. And as always, happy streaming.
Hi, I'm Alpha from Alpha Gaming. I'm the genius behind this whole channel, actually. Harris doesn't want you to know that, though. It is my villain origin story.